America's best days are yet to come. That's because conservatives like you know and live the values our great country was built on. The Heritage Foundation exists to make sure your voice is heard in the D.C. swamp each day, shining the light on a bright future. The Heritage Foundation stands for your values and won't give up the fight because they know you never will. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. What a day, right? For my wife and me, we started watching the tube around 1, 2 in the morning, and here it is. 6:06 p.m. Eastern Time. Watching every bit of it, because it is historic in every respect. And making some calls and taking some calls from fantastic people who've had various roles in this process. Let me start with Saturday night. Saturday night, my wife Julie and I are having dinner with dear friends, and I get a call. And it's the president. And such a great honor. He invites me to go on Air Force One to accompany him and his cabinet and the other folks to Israel for his Knesset speech. And of course, I desperately wanted to go, but I couldn't. And of course, online, people are making all kinds of horrendous comments about why I wouldn't or couldn't. So I feel compelled just to share with you I couldn't because I'm not comfortable leaving the country with my brother as ill as he is. That's why I didn't. But it was a fantastic event. There's been a lot of lies reported in the media about our president, about the Prime Minister of Israel. A lot of lies. Axios is really ground zero for the lies for the senior anonymous sources and others who keep leaking to Barak Ravid, sort of a self-hating Israeli. This relentless attempt to scuttle the alliance between the United States and Israel by the radical left media, by the Hamas supporting media, by the Neanderthal isolationist Jew hater grifters who are podcasters is really appalling. President Trump has tried to put this to rest over and over and over again. President Trump is, I'll say for the 1,000th time, a historic and iconic figure. Take it all in. Digest it. Because there'll never be another like him in your lifetime. And he approaches life, and he approaches events, and he approaches problems as a man who's out to solve things. And he doesn't like to be told no. And so he makes progress where others could not. Now, I've heard it said that what was really pivotal, some of our friends regurgitating this, in really driving this action towards peace, getting it over the finish line, was when the Israelis hit that building, that room in Qatar, trying to take out the leadership of Hamas. And that infuriated the president, and that's when he decided to force Israel's hand, pressure Israel. And when the Arabs saw that, of course, they decided Trump could be trusted. That is a lie. Even Trump said he never hollered at. There's no heated discussions with Netanyahu, but it doesn't matter. People are leaking, and people want to project this and regurgitate it. I see it a little differently as a matter of logic. That Qatar got the message that no matter who they hide or how they hide them, they can be reached. Like the leadership of Hezbollah that doesn't exist anymore. Like the leadership of Iran, 3/4 of which was wiped out. Like the leadership of Hamas, almost all of which was wiped out, except those who were given safe haven by Qatar and Turkey. And what we learned from the ambassador to the United States from Israel in my show on Saturday night, Life, Liberty, and Levin, Ambassador Leiter, was that in fact, because he was there, Donald Trump told Qatar and Turkey, you put pressure on Hamas to get this thing done, or you remove them from your countries. They're in your country, now get something out of them, get it done. Something to that effect. Now, as I've been watching the aftermath of these fantastic events that took place, I am so proud of Donald Trump and what he's done. It's just, I mean, it's hard to articulate. It really is. It's hard to articulate. I've done my best over the course of the last few weeks, months, years. It really is. But Donald Trump himself has said the pivotal moment came. The pivotal moment came. It really started when he took out Iran's nuclear sites. That's what he says. Not leakers, the media. That's what he says. Now, why is this important? Number one, it was important he did what he did. Why else is it important? There were individuals claiming to be MAGA. Some of them in the House. Some of them with podcasts. Some of them with subscription platforms. Some of them who are comics. And on and on and on. Grifters all. Who told you that Donald Trump should not hit those Iranian nuclear sites. Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, David Smith, Joe Rogan. Who else? Many others. A friend of mine who I shall not mention right now. It's just, I don't want to. But others. And others. You were told, I was told, we were told that it would start World War III, that China and Russia would come to the defense of Iran, that it could cause a nuclear war, that Netanyahu and Israel and the Jews and Mark Levin wanted to drag America into a war, that this was anti-MAGA, even though 92% of MAGA supported it. And if they had prevailed, Iran would have nuclear weapons. They'd have 10,000 ballistic missiles. And our country would be in dire straits, and there'd be no peace. That much I can tell you. These people will not apologize. They will not, upon circumspection, reverse course, because they have no circumspection. They hope you'll forget over my dead body. Some of them are on TV, even cable TV, who spewed the same thing. This isn't America first, they kept telling us. It's not America first. It's dividing MAGA. It's going to bring down the Trump presidency. We heard it over and over and over again. You haven't heard this from anybody today, have you? And they were liars. They're just pushing their own ideology. They agreed with the Islamists and the Marxists who wanted Iran to stand, who wanted them to get nuclear weapons. They were wrong. You should ignore these people. You shouldn't listen to these people, because this day would never have happened but for the tenacity, the statesmanship, the wisdom, the foresight of President Trump, who ignored them. He ignored them. He's MAGA, not them. He's peace, true strength, like Reagan. For me, I don't have to defend myself. I was right. Now, why was I right? Because I'm Nostradamus? No. It's called the ability to reason. To reason. Not to be driven by ideology. To be driven by reason based on sound principles. It's called prudence. That's it. That's what foreign policy, in fact, all policy should be about. Right from wrong. What works? Is there a threat? Is the threat existential? And on and on and on. The president was right. We were right. You and me. Trey Yingst had a short interview with the president after his unbelievable speech in front of the Knesset. Unbelievable. They jumped up so many times with standing ovations, I couldn't keep count. All the parties there. Cut one, Mr. Producer, and you're not hearing this anywhere. You're not hearing this anywhere, even though it was stated in front of billions of people. Cut one, go.
When did you know that Hamas was going to release the hostages?
Well, I'll tell you, I think it really started when we took out the nuclear capability of Iran. When you look at what they had, you couldn't have made this deal if somebody's sitting over there with a nuclear weapon over your head. And I think when we did that, and there were other obviously very warlike things that we did over the course of 4 or 5 years, if you setting the table. But when we did when we took away that destructive capability from Iran,
he knew the hostages could be released. Now, the fact of the matter is, it was Israel in 12 days that defeated Iran. Israel. It was their troops. It was their pilots. It was their intelligence agencies. It was we who took out their nuclear sites, critical to protecting our country, Israel, and the entire region, with the quiet but strong support of the Arab countries. They wanted them gone too. Taking out the nuclear sites. What do you make of that, America? What do you make of that? Oh, I've got more. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Folks, I have a question for you. Do you believe America's best days are still ahead? With the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence coming up in less than a year, my friends at the Heritage Foundation are taking stock of the current situation, and they need your input. They've launched a survey on America's future to gauge how Americans feel right now about where we are as a nation and where we're headed in the next 250 years. For decades, your American values have been under attack, but now, with President Trump's administration in office, we have an opportunity opportunity to turn the tide and usher in a new golden age for America. But the Heritage Foundation needs to hear from you. What policies do patriots like you most care about? What do you believe are the defining principles of America? What legacy do you believe we should pass on to the next generation? Please visit heritage.org/Levin today and share your feedback and help shape the future of America. That's heritage.org/LEVIN. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. If Bibi Netanyahu wasn't the Prime Minister of Israel, if Donald Trump had not been elected president, none of this would be happening. It would be a complete disaster. The Biden regime was withholding weapons from Netanyahu. It was withholding the IDF. It was undermining and leaking his nation's plans against Hamas and Iran. The Biden regime was funding Iran, subsidizing their nuclear program. What a disaster. Trump comes in, he kills it all. He releases the weapons that Israel had purchased. He essentially lets Israel do everything Israel believes it needs to do under Benjamin Netanyahu, the prime minister. And this was a real partnership. Like any alliance, there are disagreements from time to time. I can't think of any where there aren't, or any relationship or partnership for that matter. But the fact of the matter is, this was a 1-2 punch, no matter how many people try to shape it otherwise. And the same dunderheads who were opposed to bombing the nuclear sites think they're smarter than reality. They try to spin. Here in part is what President Trump said that's receiving almost no attention, so I'll take care of it, Mr. Producer. Cut 8, go.
After 2 harrowing years in darkness and captivity, 20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time. And after so many years of unceasing war and endless danger, today the skies are calm, the guns are silent, the sirens are still, and the sun rises on a holy land that is finally at peace, a land and a region that will live, God willing, in peace for all eternity. This is not only the end of a war, this is the end of an age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East. I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu.
Let's hear that last part again, Rich. Go.
I want to express my gratitude to a man of exceptional courage and patriotism whose partnership did so much to make this momentous day possible. You know who I'm talking about. There's only one, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Bibi, please stand up.
Does that sound like they don't like each other? Does that sound like they didn't work closely together? But for Israel's military and their prime minister, and our military and our president, none of this would be happening. I'll be right back. We're coming upon the 250th birthday of the United States, and it has me thinking, what will America look like 250 years from now? My friends at the Heritage Foundation want to know what you think. What policies should America prioritize? What principles should carry us into the decades ahead? As America enters a new golden age, Heritage recognizes that this is the time to take stock and to be intentional about how we shape the future of America. And they can't do it without your input. So please go to heritage.org/LEVIN and let them know what you think is important. Without patriots like you stepping up and speaking up for what you believe in, America as we know it can't survive for for another 250 years. Please go to heritage.org/Levin, heritage.org/Levin. Take the survey on America's future. This survey takes less than 10 minutes to complete, but it is critical for making sure that the America we pass on to future generations is an America we're proud of. Go to heritage.org/Levin today. That's heritage.org/Levin. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation.
Mark Levin, the great one.
The great one, Mark Levin.
Dial in now, 877-381-3811.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, this phase 2, as it's called, is going to be very difficult. We can worry about this tomorrow. It's going to be very difficult. I've mentioned this to you multiple times already. If you want peace in the Middle East, what do you got to do? What do you have to do if you want peace in the Middle East? You've got to stop the jihadists and the Islamists. You got to defeat them. You got to starve them. Got to isolate them. Have to eliminate them. In other words, the terrorists. You know, I was thinking about this. In many ways, Israel is like Donald Trump. Donald Trump is a counterpuncher. Israel's a counterpuncher. Israel's attacked, and they attack back. Israel didn't attack the people in Gaza. They attacked Israel. Israel didn't attack Iran. Iran attacked Israel. Israel didn't attack Hezbollah. Hezbollah attacked Israel. When Donald Trump's attacked, he attacks back. He's a counterpuncher. They're counterpunchers. The only time they weren't is 1967, when the Arab states, led by Egypt, their armies were moving to surround and cut off Israel, and Israel attacked them first. But same thing, those were obviously military steps aimed to attack Israel. So again, Israel is a counterpuncher, like Donald Trump. So here's the question then. They just let out 2,000 Palestinian terrorists, prisoners, 250 of whom are murderers, some of the most horrendous murderers on the face of the earth, who have murdered mothers and babies, innocent people, innocent citizens, who've done nothing to them. In other words, they're terrorists. They're unrepentant. They haven't sworn off terrorism. Muslim Brotherhood hasn't sworn off terrorism. Hamas hasn't sworn off terrorism. They're slaughtering people right now in Gaza. Islamic Jihad, ISIS, they haven't sworn off terrorism. Al-Qaeda. So until the countries from which these terrorists attack, until they do something about these terrorists, I just don't see how this in the end is going to bring us eternal peace. We have to address the existential problem in order to achieve eternal peace. The world has never seen eternal peace. But eternal peace with terrorists, I know, is an impossibility. Now, I know we keep praising Qatar. I just saw Qatar on our favorite TV network. Qatar is the biggest funder of terrorism. Okay. Just want to point that out. Saudi Arabia. Most of those pilots came out of Saudi Arabia who attacked us on 9/11. The mastermind on 9/11 was protected, funded by Qatar. This guy Erdogan, the murderous genocidal dictator who runs Turkey, he told Sisi, the military dictator of Egypt, that if Netanyahu comes to the meeting, you saw the meeting in Egypt, he's turning his plane around, he's going back to Turkey. So Netanyahu didn't go. At first, he was ready to go. Then he said it's the Jewish holiday, and so he didn't go. But obviously he was asked politely, Evie, we got a problem here. Can you just, okay, fine. You just released hundreds of Sinwars. who was the head of Hamas until he was obliterated. Hundreds of Sinwars, thousands of terrorist militia types. Today, in Judea and Samaria, and other parts of surrounding and, in fact, Israeli territory. 24 deceased Israeli hostages, their remains, have not been turned over because Hamas said they couldn't find them. I think it was last week here or somewhere I said that would be their game. They would say we can't find them and whatever and so forth. So they still haven't met their obligation. They all haven't been returned. Look, I'm just a practical person. Again, I use reason, not ideology. Conservative philosophy, principles, reason, and ideology. Not ideology. Reason, not ideology. It'll be very interesting. Now, I know these countries have a lot of money. But are they determined to stop what's been going on in their countries, what they've tolerated either through acquiescence or out of fear? Some of these dictatorships, they're hanging by a thread. They don't want these terrorists to turn on them. Others use the terrorists, like Qatar, using Al Jazeera, state-run media. Folks, go to memory.org. I tell you over and over again, MEMRI.org. But I haven't seen anything that demonstrates that any of these terror organizations have sworn off terror. And so it's up to the Arab and Muslim countries where they reside to help deal with it. To help deal with it. By the way, I'll be on Hannity like around 9:10 p.m. Eastern time. I'll be sprinting from my radio studio to get to a Hannity camera. So I will be on Fox about 9:10. Just turn on at 9 p.m. It's a great show, Hannity. Eastern time, and I will be there. And answering whatever questions Sean may put to me. I have another idea. And I want you to hear more of this. This unbelievable speech by our president. Just spectacular. Spectacular. The Nobel Peace Prize. I'm going to mention this, Mr. Producer, then everybody's going to mention it. You ready? You ready, America? You know who the plagiarists are out there, the verbal plagiarists. Mr. Producer, without looking it up, do you know what made Alfred Nobel famous? He invented dynamite. Alfred Nobel invented dynamite. But he wanted his legacy to be that he was a man of peace. So he became extraordinarily wealthy. And so he created the Nobel Peace Prize. Alfred Nobel was Swedish. So they have this little committee in Sweden, a little country, and everybody vies for the Nobel Peace Prize. Why do we give a damn about Alfred Nobel, Sweden, which is barely a country? No offense. And this little committee that determines who gets prizes. Why do we care about that? I have a better idea. So this is what will be repeated, of course. Nobody told you that Alfred Nobel invented dynamite. Not one person. Our country, a real country, should establish the Trump Peace Prize. Trump Peace Prize. Funded by billionaire patriots who can give out the award with the funding award. And the first prize should go to Donald Trump. There is no second place, third place, fourth place, or fifth place. There simply isn't any. They don't exist. Now, there are great heroes out there, like the heroine in Venezuela, but even she turned around and said, look, Donald Trump deserves it. And there's no reason why you can't give out more than one. We can create our own rules on this committee. So forget about the Alfred Nobel Peace Prize out of Sweden. It ought to be the Donald Trump Peace Prize out of the United States of America. How do you like that, Mr. Producer? And he should get the first Peace Prize because, my God, if he doesn't deserve it, who the hell does? You know, this Nobel Prize Committee gave a Nobel Peace Prize to Yasser Arafat. To Yasser Arafat. I mean, that was enough of a disgrace, don't you think? I can assure you the Trump Peace Prize would never go to his ilk. That is, the ilk of a Yasser Arafat. That would be crazy. Crazy. All right, let's see here. Stick with me, America. We're going to continue. There's so much good here. Let's go to, let's see. We just did cut 2, I think, right, Rich? So we did not. Let's go to cut 2, please. Go.
In Israel just now, you were talking about a possible Iran peace deal. You said, we are ready when you are. Yeah. Is that the ultimate goal with today's signing to get enough?
Not Iran, but I think Iran will come along. They've been battered and bruised, and, you know, they need some help. They have big sanctions, as you know, tremendous sanctions. I'd love to take the sanctions off when they're ready to talk. But they can't really survive with those sanctions. Those sanctions are very tough. But at some point they're going to say, we want the sanctions off. We're going to end up with peace. I think Iran is going to be fine. I know so many Iranian people. They're great people. They're smart, great people. Engineers, lawyers. I mean, they're academics. But they took a big hit. And frankly, if we didn't hit them with the nuclear, I don't think you would have been able to have this incredible this deal, this once-in-a-lifetime deal. Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening today. And countries have all come together, all different countries. Some liked each other, some didn't, most didn't. And they've all come together. Every country has come together. And by the way, Iran did put out a statement, you know, that they support this deal very wholeheartedly. So that was in itself something. But no, I think they want to, that's all I do in my life. I make deals. And they want to make a deal.
Of course, the problem with Iran is you've got the people, 90% of the people who are under the thumb of the 10% of the thugs, the murderers, the terrorists who run the country. And they've killed about 1,000 people so far, just summarily executed them in horrific ways since they lost the war with Israel and the United States. So that's part of the problem. A lot of these dictatorships are hated by the people of the country. Iran is certainly at the top of the list. So in terms of feeling battered and bruised, the people of Iran might feel battered and bruised. They have to feel the brunt of this stuff. Of course, the leadership was slammed hard, especially by the Israelis. But that leadership has nowhere to go. The people would rip them limb to limb if they could. The Iranian people are Persian people. They're not Islamists. They're not Arabs. The Turkish people are not Islamists. They're not Arabs. That's why Erdogan is not going to loosen his control. He will continue to tighten it. That's why in Iran, Khomeini will not loosen control. He'll continue to tighten it. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Folks, I have a question for you. Do you believe America's best days are still ahead? With the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence coming up in less than a year, my friends at the Heritage Foundation are taking stock of the current situation, and they need your input. They've launched a survey on America's future to gauge how Americans feel right now about where we are as a nation and where we're headed in the next 250 years. You know, for decades, your American values have been under attack, but now, with President Trump's administration in office, we have an opportunity opportunity to turn the tide and usher in a new golden age for America. But the Heritage Foundation needs to hear from you. What policies do patriots like you most care about? What do you believe are the defining principles of America? What legacy do you believe we should pass on to the next generation? Please visit heritage.org/Levin today and share your feedback and help shape the future of America. That's heritage.org/LEVIN. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. Let's listen to this. Cut 11, go.
And the choice for Palestinians could not be more clear. This is their chance to turn forever from the path of terror and violence. It's been extreme, to exile the wicked forces of hate that are in their midst. And I think that's going to happen. I've met some people over the last couple of months that want to see it happen very much. And after tremendous pain and death and hardship, now is the time to concentrate on building their people up instead of trying to tear Israel down. We don't want that to happen again. And the total focus of Gazans must be on restoring the fundamentals of stability, safety, dignity, and economic development so they can finally have the better life that their children really do deserve after all these decades of horror. I intend to be a partner in this effort in the sense that we're going to help and we're going to do something that became unbelievably popular. Everybody wants to be on it. It's called the Board of Peace. Okay, how about that? Is that a beautiful name? Like a board of peace.
I see the imams in our own country. I see you, Dearbornistan. I see the faculty members in some of our greatest, or what were greatest, colleges and universities. I see who we're trying to deport, the people who hate and try to overturn our country. I see the people in the street who come from these parts of the world, who seek to destroy what they call the American empire, burn our flag, carry the flag of Hamas, Islamic Jihad, Muslim Brotherhood, and the whole bunch. I see the offenses they commit. I see they're violent. I see the hate for our country. How are we going to deal with this? How are we going to extinguish this when it's being imported into our country from places like the Middle East? How are we going to stop the Palestinians from teaching their children to hate Jews? They have their own Sesame Street, which is all about the extermination of Jews. How are we going to stop this when they celebrate the Holocaust and Hitler? How are we going to reach into their culture to stop what they're doing when we're having difficulty reaching into our own culture to stop what the Marxist Islamists are doing to our own country? I'm just saying this is a very, very complicated task. And which one of these Arab countries is going to go along with us? First, to cleanse the culture of terrorism among the Palestinians, whether they be in Gaza or other parts of the Middle East. Who's going to do this? The Qataris? The Saudis? So this will be a significant challenge. I'll be right back. This segment of the podcast is exclusively sponsored by Pure Talk. Pure Talk offers great coverage and can save your family money on your wireless bill every single month. Go to puretalk.com to find the plan that's right for you. Thank you again for listening, and thank you so much for this sponsorship, Pure Talk.
He's here. He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. You know, ladies and gentlemen, Remember that massive crowd a few nights back? When Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner and Ivanka Trump were speaking, and when Steve Witkoff graciously mentioned Benjamin Netanyahu, there were boos. And all the coverage, all the networks, all the cable TV, all the media had mentioned there were boos against Benjamin Netanyahu. That would be like Donald Trump giving a speech in Los Angeles, where hundreds of thousands of people showed up on the streets. In other words, that's not exactly his base, right, Mr. Producer? Tel Aviv is the home to the left-wing parties, the center-left parties, all the opposition parties to Netanyahu and his coalition of parties. That's the strong, populated base for the leftists. Jerusalem, the biggest city there, and some of the other cities, and Judea and Samaria and so forth, those are the population centers that support the conservatives, Likud and so forth, and Netanyahu. Now, these reporters knew it, but they never mentioned it. They never mentioned it. And not all, but many of the hostage families from the kibbutzim and the Nova Festival locations are families of the left. And to the credit of many of the hostage families, they have not wanted their movement to get their family members out from the gulag, the tunnels of these Nazis, to be politicized. But a certain group of them has, and they've been led by radicals too, some of whom a year or two ago were referring to our president, Trump, as Hitler. Some of these organizers, some of these leaders of these efforts. So there's all this that's been going on sort of under the radar that most Americans are not aware because the American media do not tell you these things. And the thing is, when you see these hostages come home, you don't give a damn if they're liberal, conservative, what they are. You have tears coming down your cheeks, a big smile on your face. You see these families who've been through hell, who've been through their own form of torture, seeing their loved ones. You go from the lowest of the low in terms of your emotions and your psychology to the highest of the high. What counts is getting them and making sure there's no others taken in the future. There's a great risk, and Israel was pressured to release 2,000 prisoners, most of whom are terrorists, most of whom will fight for terrorists, 250 of whom are convicted of murder or plotting murder in the most horrendous ways. They're now free. Now, Sinwar, the battlefield leader of Hamas, was one of them. Many years ago, when he and many others were freed under circumstances where they had one IDF soldier, and the Israelis traded like 2,000 prisoners for the one IDF soldier. So, I'm just making you aware of these things because the fact of the matter is, as I indicated the other day, we have no intention of defunding our counterterrorism efforts. None. We have no intention of defunding our counterterrorism infrastructure. None. We have no intention of eliminating our forward bases and our special forces that deal with these terrorist organizations. None. You can go on the State Department terrorism list, groups and organizations right now. It's still there. It hasn't changed one iota. The names of these groups and the countries in which they have been given birth and percolate. They're still there. They're still there. The National Director of Intelligence still references it, still refers to it. We have no intention of changing our force structure, which significant aspects of it have been built to counter terrorism. Well, why not, Mr. Producer? Why not, America? Because these countries that house these terrorists, like Qatar, like Turkey, or these countries that acquiesce to it, or these countries that don't know what to do about it, they've not signed up in any way to actually take actions, proactive action, to confront it, that I'm aware of. Israel's not going to be the problem. It never has been in the Middle East. These are people that want to destroy Israel and hate the Jews. They're the problem. The same people who hate the Christians and are slaughtering them in Syria and Africa and other parts of the African continent and the Middle East. So I presume there's going to be some kind of plan on how do we deal with this, the source of the problem. The source of the problem. It's hard to know, isn't it? Benjamin Netanyahu during today's incredible event. Cut 12, Mr. Producer, go.
This is your first visit to Israel since you recognized Jerusalem as our capital and moved the embassy here. Thank you, President Trump, for that. There are many other reasons to thank you since your last visit here. Thank you for recognizing Israeli sovereignty over the Golan Heights. Thank you for standing up to the lies against Israel in the United Nations. Thank you for recognizing in your 2020 peace plan our rights in Judea and Samaria, the ancestral homeland of the Jewish people. Thank you for brokering the historic Abraham Accords. Abraham, Eskemei Avraham.
Cut 13, go.
No American president has ever done more for Israel. And as I said in Washington, it ain't even close. It's really not a match. Mr. President, today we welcome you here to thank you for your pivotal leadership in putting forward a proposal that got the backing of almost the entire world. A proposal that brings all our hostages home. A proposal that ends the war by achieving all our objectives. A proposal that opens the door to an historic expansion of peace in our region and beyond our region. Mr. President, you are committed to this peace. I am committed to this peace. And together, Mr. President, we will achieve this peace. We've done it before. We've done it before in the Abraham Accords, and we'll do it again.
Cut 14, go.
These monsters take babies as hostages. In response to this barbaric attack on October 7th, Israel did what it had to do. With indomitable courage, we set out to defend our people, to defeat our enemies, and to release our hostages. Our heroic soldiers fought like lions. They fought on the front lines of civilization and barbarism. Israel achieved amazing victories over Hamas and the entire Iran terror axis. Sinwar, Dev, Khania, Nasrallah, Assad, they're all gone.
Think about that. Sinwar, Hamas, Nasrallah, that's Hezbollah. Assad is Syria. Hania, I believe that's the Houthis. They're all gone. The leaders are gone. Cut 15, go.
I look forward to continuing marching with you on the path we paved together with the Abraham Accords. Under your leadership, we can forge new peace treaties with Arab countries in the region and Muslim countries beyond the region. Abraham's children will work together to build a better future, a future that will unite civilization against barbarism, light against darkness, and hope against despair. And my friends, I believe that with President Trump's leadership, this will happen a lot faster than people think. As Prime Minister of Israel, I extend my hand to hold those who seek peace with us. No one wants peace more than the people of Israel. Israel will always remain vigilant in defending itself, and Israel will always remain full of hope. Hope is our national anthem. Hope is our creed. Hope is our strength. It is time, my friends, to realize that hope and expand the circle of peace.
We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Our society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Everyday Americans should be able to speak openly and honestly about family and traditional values without retribution from the government. And that's a principle Pure Talk proudly supports. They sponsor my show, which allows me to stand strong behind the microphone every day and share the truth with you. If you want to support brands that defend freedom and pro-American values, I strongly encourage you to switch your wireless service to Pure Talk. You're going to get great 5G coverage on an extremely reliable and secure network, and with plans from just $25 a month, you'll save a ton of money. And Pure Talk also believes in creating American jobs and supporting America's small businesses. So if you're a small business owner, you can save even more while enjoying white glove service. Stand with the companies who share your values. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's puretalk.com/Levin to switch to my favorite wireless company right now, Pure Talk, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, puretalk.com/Levin. Make the switch, folks. Make it today. I gotta believe Third Reich Bannon is upset today. Third Reich Bannon. Everything he has said is turned into baloney. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. He believes Donald Trump is running in 2028. Look, I can't help the guy's a dumb bastard. What do you want from me? A confessed, convicted fraud and a dumb bastard. But we know where his sympathies lie, hence Third Reich Bannon of the fraud room. He's been wrong about everything. Wrong about anything. Like his lap dancer friend, Catarlson. No question about that. Have you seen that comedian that does Catarlson, mister? What is that guy's name? He's hilarious. I post it all the time. Avi or Ami, I ought to give the guy some attention. I mean, he is funny. And now he's doing Candace Owens. It's just funny. These are real comedians, unlike this guy, Dave Smith, who's a bleeding hemorrhoid on the body politic. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And he's not alone, of course. And I love this. The funniest thing I ever heard J.D. Vance do was that Palestinian joke involving Schumer. Ami Kozak, folks, this guy's good. Ami Kozak, put his name down. Maybe we'll have him on in a few weeks, Mr. Producer. Maybe during the holidays. That would be fun, don't you think? Ami Kozak, a real comedian, a patriotic comedian, who actually knows stuff. But when J.D. Vance at that cabinet meeting said, look, Donald Trump, he knows both sides of these things. I mean, he's been a New York real estate developer for a long time, so he knows a lot of Jewish people who've been involved in that business too. And look, he knows the other side too. He knows a great Palestinian, Chuck Schumer. Ladies and gentlemen, I almost fell off my chair because that Trump line about calling Schumer Palestinian, oh, that's racist. It's not racist. That's Trump's way of saying the guy is a self-hating Jew, which, of course, we all know that he is. We all know that he is, despite the endless davening on the Senate floor, or whatever the hell the problem is there. Actually, I think it's Tourette's. But nonetheless, here's Chuck Schumer. And here he is with Al Sharpton. Isn't that kind of funny? You see, MSLSD has no standards whatsoever. Al Sharpton, cut 20, go.
But I couldn't help but notice that while the details of the Middle East agreement were being released, Vice President Vance took time out to recycle an old Trump joke about you, calling you a famous Palestinian. Why do you think this administration is so focused on these kind of trolling insults?
I have to disagree with our buddy J.D. Little. He's not so famous, actually. He's infamous, an infamous Palestinian. That would be better. And I want to congratulate Al Sharpton for actually finishing a sentence without making an ass out of himself. Go ahead.
In this historic moment.
I think it's just, it's disgraceful how I don't care about me, and, everyone knows who I am.
He doesn't care about himself, the biggest egomaniac to ever walk on the earth with his knees in his hands. Yes. I don't care about me. It's all about you, you moron. It always is. Go ahead.
I've made them clear over the decades on this issue in terms of the three things I've mentioned, lasting, rather, bring
another broken mouth, marble mouth, who can't complete a sentence. Go ahead.
Get aid to the Palestinians and have a real long-term ceasefire.
Oh, aren't you brilliant? Aren't you? Aid to the Palestinians, long-term ceasefire. Gee, nobody's ever said that before. Go ahead.
And they just troll. They don't believe in trying to negotiate.
Negotiate with you schmuck? What's to negotiate? You're a fraud and a phony. What's to negotiate with this fraud and a phony? He's running scared. He's got AOC chasing his ass. Can you imagine that? You've been a senator for 712 years and AOC is a threat to you? She has an IQ of -14. I'll be right back. Our society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Everyday Americans should be able to speak openly and honestly about family and traditional values without retribution from the government. And that's a principle Pure Talk proudly supports. They sponsor my show, which allows me to stand strong behind the microphone every day and share the truth with you. If you want to support brands that defend freedom and pro-American values, I strongly encourage you to switch your wireless service to Pure Talk. You're going to get great 5G coverage on an extremely reliable and secure network, and with plans from just $25 a month, you'll save a ton of money. And Pure Talk also believes in creating American jobs and supporting America's small businesses. So if you're a small business owner, you can save even more while enjoying white glove service. Stand with the companies who share your values. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's puretalk.com/Levin to switch to my favorite wireless company right now, Pure Talk, and you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, puretalk.com/Levin. Make the switch, folks. Make it today.
Mark Levin, radio's hell-raising intellectual. Call now, 877-381-3811.
There's a guy named Mehdi Hassan who is an Islamist, who preaches violence, who hates America, hates Israel, hates Jews. And yet, he's invited on various platforms, as a lot of these people are, quite frankly, whether they be on the hard right or the hard left. Again, his name is Mehdi Hassan, M-E-H-D-I, Hassan, H-A-S-A-N. You can Google him yourself. The things he has said about gay people, the things he has said about Jews, the things he has said about Americans, which makes him a perfect Democrat, right? Now, Brian Mast is my congressman, my Florida congressman. This guy is a patriot. Unfortunately, he lost both of his legs in Afghanistan, fighting the Islamists there, the Taliban. He also joined the IDF in Israel. This guy's a great patriot, and he's smart as hell. And we just adore him, my family and I. And so here's this guy, Hassan, who, of course, has done nothing for our country but try and destroy it, who is a bigot and an anti-Semite, in my humble opinion, and I can prove it, Mehdi. And he's talking to Bassem Youssef, all in the family, huh? B-A-S-S-E-M Youssef, Bassem Youssef. And they're having a grand old time. Cut 21, go.
Brian Mast, Republican congressman.
Yes.
Who wore IDF uniform to work after our terms.
I said, like, he lost his legs, then he lost his balls and his honors.
Think that's funny, folks? Here's Hassan. Go ahead.
One of the most racist people in Congress, and that's saying a lot because there's a big competition for most racist member of Congress. He had a bill which would give Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, the power to strip Americans of their passports if they took a position on the Middle East, if they support terrorism, which is such a vague position.
Yes, if they support terrorism, which is such a vague term, you see, according to Mehdi Hassan. Trashing Brian Mast as a racist. Guy doesn't have a racist bone in his body. He despises Islamist jihadists like Mehdi Hassan. If you want Western society to commit suicide, then you continue on this course. You continue on this course. That's this guy Hassan, Mehdi Hassan. He's all over the place. He's part of the enemy within. Definitely. Then we have Christiana Amanpour. She is a loathsome. I'll leave it at that. She's on CNN, the Constipated News Network. They keep running this woman. She's another hater, and she is a complete sleazeball. Now, she later apologized today, but not before she gave her real opinion. I want you to listen to this. This is incredible. This woman is platformed by CNN. Cut 18, go.
And I think for sure, people who start to talk to the hostages who've only just been released will find that it will take a long time for them to recover physically, but also mentally. It's been a terrible 2 years for them, because not only are they there, they're probably being treated better than the average Gazan because they are the pawns and the chips that Hamas had. Now Hamas has given up all its leverage, by the way, by giving them all up. So that is a victory for the Israelis.
That's pretty sick, don't you think, Rich? They're probably being treated better than the average Gazan. Oh, and then the second part. It's a victory, you see, for the Israelis because Hamas gave them their people back. And so Hamas doesn't have leverage anymore. Now, this is CNN. Now, she apologized. CNN should fire her ass. Fire her fat ass. and she can go work for Al Jazeera in Qatar like everybody else, like 90% of Washington, D.C. She can go work for Qatar, our new friends. I saw one of these Qataris interviewed on TV a couple hours back. Oh, they're respectable now, don't you know? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, they're mediators. I think it's really time for the 9/11 families to speak up and speak out about this. KSM would have been captured by our FBI, but for the royal family Qatar. I hope you saw my show Sunday on Life, Liberty, and Levin and Peter Schweitzer. So you know that the royal family Qatar has been subsidizing the Mandami family for years. I thought we opposed Mandami. I mean, this is part of the problem. How do you have peace with a country like Qatar, which is both perpetrator and mediator? I'm just curious. How does this work? Which has destroyed so many of our colleges and universities with the filth and the poison. How does that work? And this is going to be the problem. This is going to be part of the problem anyway. Oh, yes. Then we have Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy is a human anal cavity. Can I say that on the air, Mr. Producer? That's a mistake. I didn't mean that. He is a jackal anal cavity. He is a lowlife of lowlifes. He just is a despicable puke. And he's being interviewed by Margaret Brennan, who is a complete fraud, phony, and fool. This is why you don't watch these Sunday shows. This is on Deface the Nation. Cut 19, go.
I know you have a lot of differences with the president, but on this, is this a clear win?
All right, let's stop. Is it a win? What are we playing, baseball? Margaret Brennan, the IQ of a coconut. Oh, yeah. Of an unripe coconut, as a matter of fact. Margaret Brennan. Who the hell is she? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Who's Margaret? Deface the Nation. Who even watches this crap anymore? Nobody. Nobody. Go ahead.
That we have a ceasefire. It's important that these hostages are coming home. And I congratulate the negotiators on getting this done. There's no politics about this.
You should be congratulating President Trump on getting this done. The negotiators are his. They wouldn't be negotiating but for him. This guy is foot fungus. That's what he is, Rich. Foot fungus. Go ahead.
As you're going to see some very tearful reunions tomorrow, hopefully.
Oh, thanks, Chris. Chris, you're really up on top of this, aren't you? Yes, you are. He sounds like a pervert. I'm not saying he is. I would never say, listen, you will never hear me call Chris Murphy a pervert. Never. Never. Never call Chris Murphy a pervert. Never. Don't call him a pervert. I didn't call him a pervert. You should not call Chris Murphy a pervert. And I will defend him that I am not aware that he's a pervert. Are you aware that he's a pervert, Mr. Producer? No, you've not heard that he's a pervert, have you? So I don't know where that comes from. Go ahead.
But you watch those devastating images of what Gaza looks like today, and it's both.
I'll tell you what, jackass. You go to a film, black and white films from the 1940s. You look at what Dresden looks like. You look like what Hiroshima and Nagasaki look like. You look what Berlin looked like. You look what London looked like when the Nazis were bombing. You're such a moron. Hey, I got another one. Why don't you look at the old pictures of Atlanta when Sherman burned it to the ground? In fact, he burned Georgia to the ground. Why don't you look at Vicksburg when Ulysses S. Grant pounded the crap out of it and surrounded it and pounded the crap out of it? Why don't you look at that one? Why don't you look at the battlefields, the pictures of Gettysburg or Bull Run 1 or Bull Run 2? Why don't you look at that, you jackass? Yes, I'm a Chris Murphy, but I'm not a pervert. I promise I'm not. Who said you were? I don't know. I'm just wondering if people think I am. Well, maybe people think you are. That doesn't mean you are. No, I know. And look at Gaza, what it looks like today. See, it's complete ignorance. It's ignorance by politicians, by media, or worse. Purposeful propaganda. They act like there's never been a place like Gaza. I'll show you one. The first temple that was destroyed by the Babylonians, where they killed hundreds of thousands of Jews. Look that one up. Oh, I got another one. The second temple that was destroyed by the Romans, who killed over 1 million Jews. They ran out of trees to put Jews on the cross. They lined the road, the main road to Jerusalem. Look at that one. Oh, come on. Yeah, no. Look at that one. And many, many more. I've got some for you. Look at Africa, where black Christians are being slaughtered by the thousands by Islamists. Oh, I got another one. Ready? Syria, where 500,000 Muslims were slaughtered by Muslims. There's one. How about Yemen right now, where 250,000 Muslims are slaughtered by Muslims? Wow. No, Gaza. Look at Gaza. All they had to do is surrender. All they had to do is leave the Israelis alone. And you know what's funny? In a sick way, about all these other places and all these other issues in history? Those armies never fed the populations. When the Babylonians were destroying the first temple, hey, but feed the Jews. When the Romans were destroying the second temple, feed the Jews. That's right. As the Islamists are slaughtering the Christians in Africa, feed the Christians. You don't hear about that. Feed the Yemenis. No, you don't hear about that. Feed the Syrians as they're being slaughtered by fellow Syrians. You don't hear about that. I didn't hear us. Feed the Afghanis while we're fighting the Taliban. Who heard that one? Did you hear that one? Feed the Nazis while you're burning down Dresden. Feed the Japanese while you're blowing 2 cities off the face of the earth. No. But there's Chris Murphy with the IQ of a boiled egg, with Margaret Brennan, with no IQ whatsoever. It's amazing. I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Our society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Everyday Americans should be able to speak openly and honestly about family and traditional values without retribution from the government. And that's a principle Pure Talk proudly supports. They sponsor my show, which allows me to stand strong behind the microphone every day and share the truth with you. If you want to support brands that defend freedom and pro-American values, I strongly encourage you to switch your wireless service to Pure Talk. You're going to get great 5G coverage on an extremely reliable and secure network, and with plans from just $25 a month, you'll save a ton of money. And Pure Talk also believes in creating American jobs and supporting America's small businesses. So if you're a small business owner, you can save even more while enjoying white glove service. Stand with the companies who share your values. Go to puretalk.com/Levin. That's puretalk.com/Levin to switch to my favorite wireless company right now, Pure Talk. And you'll save an additional 50% off your first month. Again, puretalk.com/Levin. Make the switch, folks. Make it today. You know, AOC, when she was young, yeah, she was a bartender. So for now on, that is our AOC music. AOC, you know, when she was young and she was going to school in, what was it? Where was I before I made myself AOC? When she was young, I think she was a bartender. But before that, when she was going to school, she said, call me Sandy. So I have to remember, Mr. Producer, whenever I call AOC Sandy, you can do the beer drink, okay? Either way, because this is her real fame. There she is, minding her own business, pouring drinks, maybe having a little on the side there, you never know. And she became a Marxist Islamist. She's now the brain trust for the Democrat Party. It's true. And she's got so much to over. Like that big, stupid, red Bernie Sanders. Another brain trust for the Democrat Party. I mean, honestly, even if you're a commie, even communists don't have honeymoons in Moscow, Mr. Producer. Did you know that? They go to St. Petersburg, good communists. Maybe they'll go to Dearbornistan. They're not going to go to Moscow. If you're a Russian communist, honey, the most romantic place on earth for our honey, where? Moscow. Nobody believes that, but Bernie Sanders does. In fact, I can't even think of him in that context. You get my drift, Mr. Producer? Makes me sick to my stomach. Reminder, I'll be on Hannity in 1 hour, 9 p.m. Eastern. I mean, who wants to miss that, Mr. Producer? Nobody wants to miss that, do they? Now, other hosts, they don't miss it. They want to know what I say so they can repeat it tomorrow. Oh, it's true. Look, no offense. No brag, just fact. No brag. I'm not a braggart. I really am not. You ever see this guy, JB Pritzker? By the way, what's with all the initials? JB Pritzker, JD. I'm serious. I'm not trying to be offensive. If I were to call myself Mark and use my middle initial R, my middle initial is Reed, M.R. Levin, I'd still be Mr. Levin. You see what I'm saying, Rich? So why call myself M.R. Levin and be Mr. Levin? No, I don't like that. But when I was a kid, we had kids, hey, JB, JD, AC, DC, ACDC, all kinds of stuff. Anyway, I'll deal with Pritzker when we come back. This guy looks like a chemistry experiment gone wrong. I just look at this guy. I'll be right back.
He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, America. Mark Levin here. Our number, 877. Anyway, I'll be on Hannity, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm tired of JB Pritzker. I think we'll give that one a rest for a little while. But there is Mike Johnson at a press conference. This guy is really good. This speaker is really outstanding, in my humble opinion. And as you know, the Democrats, they're trying to create a mess. They're trying to create... they sabotage. That's what they do. I mean, what are they going to do? Run on their record? What record? They're not running on Obamacare needs to be fixed. They used to run on the fact that Obamacare needs to be passed because Obamacare will fix the whole healthcare system for average Americans. Turns out Obamacare sucks, the coverage is awful, and the costs are prohibitive. And so now they're blaming the Republicans because that's what the Democrats do. They're lunatics. Lunatics. And then, you see, they wanted to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on health care for illegal aliens. They lied about that. And so now they've changed the subject. So nobody even talks about it anymore. I think the Republicans need to get back to it. Oh, they don't care about the average citizen. No, they care about the average illegal alien. Obamacare is such a disaster. It's amazing to me. Obama's out there talking about everything but Obamacare. Now, it seems to me when Obama's out there talking about Obamacare, people should question him. Well, we have reporters. They're a joke. They're not really reporters. They're ideological propagandists. But there's got to be one or two of them out there when they get a hold of Obama. They can say, hey, Obamacare sucks. Well, you said it would fix everything. It's a disaster. Something like that. Here's Mike Johnson, cut 25, go.
The only thing that's changed is his personal political calculation.
That's
his
true.
Consultants and his pollsters have told him he needs to show a fight to
now,
President Trump.
I have to correct the speaker. Take it back to the top, Mr. President. He said the only thing that's changed basically was Schumer. Only thing that's really changed is he needs a fight, you know. That's it. Nothing else. And I have to disagree. You know, it's like Biden. When these guys, you know, these white guys get these cornrows plugged into their foreheads, you know how they have like a straight line, so you know some surgeon was busy pulling the plugs from the back of their head and planting it in the front of their forehead. And this is Schumer. So as they get older, you know, the hair, it looks like a whole mess up there. It looks like something's going on up there. Nobody knows what. Looks like a mess. I often wonder, you know, what goes in there? The bugs go in there, the gnats, the mosquitoes. But nonetheless, he's got these hair plugs for men. They're right on his forehead. And so something has changed. They don't look right anymore. They never looked right, quite frankly. They never looked right. So he did change. Cut 25, go.
The only thing that's changed is his personal political calculation. His consultants and his pollsters have told him he needs to show a fight to President Trump, even if it means hurting millions of American families. So that is exactly what Chuck Schumer is doing. He's determined that his own political survival is worth the irreversible harm he's inflicting on the American people. He's gambling with people's lives and livelihoods to appease the far-left Marxist base of his party so that he can keep his job.
Stop right there. I want to congratulate the speaker. He's one of the few that actually uses the word Marxist. And he uses it properly. These are not democratic socialists, progressives, liberals, leftists. Oh, it sounds so okay. They're Marxists. And he's really the first person in public office, he and Trump, who use this word and use it as they should and use it often. The Marxist base of the Democrat Party. That is correct. Go ahead.
No mistake. This is bigger than Chuck Schumer. Democrats are terrified of their
All right, hold on. Nothing's bigger than Chuck Schumer. We know that. Nothing's bigger than Chuck Schumer's head. His head is so big, Mr. Producer, could be used at the Macy's Thanksgiving parade. Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
The ones who have been here for a while, kind of your father, your grandfather's Democrat Party, the remnant of those folks who are still here in the halls.
Well, you know, your father's grandfather's Democrat Party, depending on how old you are and your father and grandfather is, your father's Democrat Party could be a segregationist Democrat Party, of course. Before that, it would have been a party that supported slavery. And in between them, it could be a party that supported eugenics. So, you know, your Democrat, your father's Democrat Party, your grandfather's Democrat Party, that party sucks. It's always sucked from beginning to end. Go ahead.
To show any willingness to work with Republicans or to work with President Trump.
Even he only likes to work with Palestinians, apparently. That's what I hear from JD and the president. Go ahead.
Clearly benefit the American people. And everybody sees right through this.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. But don't worry, Chuck's on MSNBC. Now, here's the good thing about these guys going on CNN and MSNBC. They have no viewers. I don't understand why our guys go on these states. I don't get it. Well, we want to make sure we're getting our message. You're not getting your message out. You're not getting your message. You might as well go in the middle of a forest and scream at the top of your lungs. You'll have more viewers. It'll mostly be squirrels and birds, but nonetheless, you don't have viewers on MSLSD and the Constipated News Network. So why do our guys go on these networks? Anyway, Chuck Schumer's on the network. See what I mean? It's totally useless on MSLSD. You know he's running against AOC. You know that, Mr. Producer? He's running against Sandy. You missed your cue. He's running against AOC. Attaboy. There we go. Yes. Yes, that's right. The bartender. And by the way, I have nothing against bartenders. Except her. Cut 26. Go.
The American people don't like it. Even the government workers, when you talk to them, they resent being used as hostages. They resent
government workers are being used as hostages? Only a Palestinian would talk like this. Government workers are being used as hostages. I believe it was they who refused to vote for the continuing resolution. I don't know how they keep all their lies straight. I really don't. Go ahead.
Donald Trump. And it's the kind of thing that Trump does, but the American people don't like it.
Here's the thing, America. Donald Trump secures the border. He's trying to bring peace and tranquility to our cities. He's cut your taxes. And when they really kick in, it's going to be a big deal. What else has he done? He's built up local law enforcement just by supporting them. He's building up the United States military. What else has he done? He's trying to prevent illegal aliens from getting Medicaid. And the list goes on. What have these guys done? Donald Trump is pushing DEI out of our culture. Donald Trump is insisting that boys actually play with boys and girls actually play with girls. You know, there was a whole movement, Mr. Producer, boys playing with boys, girls playing. That's a whole other story. Nonetheless, Donald Trump believes in faith. He's trying to get the anti-Semites out of the country, on and on. And these are all, you see, supporters of the Democrat Party. Perverts, anti-Semites, Islamists, Marxists. Oh, yeah, this makes up the base of the Democrat Party. Actually, it makes up the Democrat Party. Go ahead.
As I said, they want health care, and they want the kinds of things that we Democrats are fighting for to help working families. And when Trump uses these workers...
We want health care? I think we do want health care. It's a good point there, Chuck. We just don't want health care for illegal aliens, and Obamacare is a joke. And so now they're fighting over fixing Obamacare. We need to fix what we did. We need to fix what we did. Go ahead.
Pawns. The American people don't like it, and the workers themselves.
How do you know what the American people like or don't like? How does he know that? I'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
Let's take some calls and jump into the gene pool. What do you say? Jeff, Sparta, New Jersey, XM Satellite. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great, Mark. Let me get you off my... I've been waiting a long time. Hey, listen, I on my way to work this morning, get my morning coffee at the 7-Eleven, and, didn't take long for the New York Slimes. Didn't miss a beat in their grand anti-Semitic fashion. Their headline today: Test for Israel, repairing ties to U.S. voters. Image stained by war. Reputation in U.S. in tatters. The relationship with the most important ally destroyed. I mean, what is up with this paper?
That paper has been a poison in American culture since its founding. It was a paper originally some of its founders supported the Confederacy and slavery. It is a paper that covered up the Stalin's murder of 5 to 6 million Ukrainians in 1932. It is a paper that covered up the Holocaust till the late 1944. It is a paper that helped bring Fidel Castro into power in Cuba. It is a paper that has been a mouthpiece for Hamas and the Islamists and the Marxists now. So that paper is the enemy of the people. That paper is a corporate disgrace. And I don't know what it is. As you see, here's the deal, Jeff. If Israel had lost and, say, 100,000 of them were slaughtered, then the New York Times would come to their defense. But the Israelis are not going to do that. There's not going to be another Holocaust. They will fight to the end. They have their own country. They are warriors. They have advanced weaponry. Many of them they've developed themselves, and technologies they've developed themselves, not all. And so they're not going to, it's not going to happen. So the New York Times is like Marxist Islamist operations. The aggressor is now considered Israel, even though Israel was attacked. So it is real piece of you-know-what. All right, my brother. Good call. I appreciate it. Let's go to Catherine, Southwest Virginia. XM Satellite. Sirius, how are you?
Hi, Mark. I'm good. You're the one person out there that I've heard speak truth about the situation. I find the whole thing infuriating and extremely naive. We have seen what these people are. The Israeli people are the victims here. And, what we hear is how, the Gazan society is going to be made prosperous. It's almost like these people are being congratulated. I don't give a damn about the Gazan society.
And what does that mean, Gazan society and Gazan neighborhoods and everything? They spent billions and billions of dollars building a subway system effectively for terrorism. I mean, what is it? And this is all money that most of it that comes from outside countries, Western countries. They thought they were feeding these people and so forth and so on, and they're building a terror state to attack other people. I mean, I don't get it. In other words, I don't get this so-called sympathy. And then they lie about the genocide, and then they lie about the starvation. And now Israel's the perpetrator. Israel's the problem. I'm sorry, we don't do that here.
Is the victim, and they fought against insurmountable odds, and it's these Palestinian people are the ones that ran across the border and slaughtered babies and raped the women. No, and we're, everything's just going to be fine and dandy now. No, they should have let Israel finish it.
And one day I'm afraid Israel's going to pay another price because we're not there. They're there. And they're going to have to go through it again. I worry about that very, very much. All right, Catherine, God bless you, my friend. Let us continue. Let's go to Elon, San Francisco, the great KSFO. Go right ahead, please.
How you doing, sir? First of all, thank you for getting my call, and I want to thank on your radio to President Donald Trump that helped us so much.
Yes,
He's
sir.
a great man. And the thing I just want to say, people are, like living in La La Land. There will never be peace. You cannot trust the Palestinians. They always cry. And now maybe they won't be in Gaza, but they will go to Judah and Shomron and, get power over there. They're like untrusty. And it's the same thing like when they put in Iran, all the people that look over Iran was Russia, China, that they are with Iran. They do the same thing with Gaza. They put Turkey and all those terrorist supporters that hate Israel regardless. So I don't think it work. I wish it will. Nobody wants a war, but it will never happen. As far as I know, them are serving the army. And all the kids here that support Gaza and all that, I would show them the movie of 9/11 that I saw it live. I was on the train on the Manhattan Bridge, seeing the second plane hitting the building live, and how they came down to show them how the people in Gaza gave candies and danced in the street in all those Palestinians when the Twin Tower got hit.
Did you see how today they were cheering these murders? These terrorist murders were coming back, and the media were saying, and they're now reunited with their family members. Are you sick? Are you sick? These are killers. These are terrorists. Look, they've rejoined with their family members just like they did in Israel. No, they're not just like they did in Israel. The others were innocent human beings who didn't do anything to anybody versus terrorists who killed people. All right, Elon, thank you for your call. It makes me sick to my stomach. Let's continue. Let's go to Bardia, Dallas, Texas, the great WBAP. Go!
Hi, Mark. How are you?
Good. How are you?
You're truly the greatest one. I just want to tell you, nice to talk to you again.
Thank you.
And about President Trump, got a very high hope, but unfortunately, that's not going to be happening. The reason is you have to take care of the root of the problem, not just temporary. Get rid of part of it. And the root is in Iran. And as long as this government, and I don't know who advising him, he keeps saying the Iranian people are good people. We understand that, but the problem is the government is bad. If you try to make a deal with the government, they're going to continue killing the people and do the same thing they've been doing and fund all these terrorist groups again.
Mm-hmm.
And about a week or
there
two,
is, you're right. There's a disconnect between the government and the people, and that's the problem. And you're right. The people of Iran are wonderful people, but they live in a police state. Go right ahead.
He keeps sending a wrong signal to the people. He keeps saying that people have a high hope. I mean, they love Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, isn't that funny? Netanyahu is as popular in Iran as Trump is in Israel. They love Netanyahu, the Iranian people.
Because finally somebody just came along and tried to get taking care of these people that we've been waiting 50 years dealing with these people.
Mm-hmm. And they're a dire threat to us, and they always have been, and they've killed Americans. All right, thank you for your call, my brother. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin, America's Paul Revere. Call him now, 877-381-3811.
Don't forget, in about a half hour, I will be on Hannity on the Fox News channel. Oh, yeah. Let's see here. Stick with me. Let's go to Ianfi in Rochester, New York, the great WHAM. Go right ahead, please.
Oh, thank you for taking my call.
You're more than welcome.
What I wanted to say is, when it comes to how to get things done with war, Israel, there's nobody who does a better job than Israel. They know what they're doing. And I remember when Netanyahu wanted to take out the head of Iran, and President Trump didn't think it was a good idea. But I think it was a good idea.
Mm-hmm. Well, then you'll be attacked by the usual troglodytes and Neanderthals, who are wrong about everything, except they seem to love the Marxist Islamists and Sharia law now. Tucker. Anyway, you'll be attacked because they'll say you favor regime change. I'm thinking, yeah, it's okay, you know. It happens from time to time. Better their regime change than ours.
I favor saving the West.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, you're right.
And they had to see something to show how tough the opposition to them was going to be. Then, while they were in consternation trying to figure out who would replace him, then hit their nukes.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't understand why that did. Why
have you ever been a general? Tell me the truth.
No.
I'm just kidding you. All right. Thank you. Great call. Appreciate it. Neil, Charleston, South Carolina, the great WTMA. Neil, go right ahead, please.
Hey, Mark. Good talking to you again.
Thank you, Neil.
I would like to talk about and to get your thoughts on is how do you change the idea? Like, it's great that all this is happening. I support it all. But the idea, you can't get rid of an idea. It takes 1 to 2 generations to switch the mindset of the
That's
idea.
The problem.
The
this
idea
has been, people are indoctrinated. That's the problem, isn't it? What's that?
Yeah, it's the problem. And when in the past that it's been handed down by mouth from generation to generation.
And how are we going to rely on the Arabs and the Muslim governments to change what's going on there? Have they shown any inclination to do that at all?
I don't know.
See, all they do is blame Israel, blame the West, behind our backs, blame the United States. They export this stuff. They keep it out of their own front yard, you know. I just don't see them doing the heavy lifting, taking on the terrorists, taking on all these obligations. And for what? That's just me. I could be dead wrong. I hope I am. Thanks for your call, buddy. Appreciate it, Neil. Let's keep rolling. Rolling. My wife's over there laughing at me. Better to laugh. Oh, with me. Good. All right. Very good. Let's go to Wolf, Shenandoah Valley, Virginia. Beautiful area. WSVA. Wolf, how are you?
I'm fine, Mr. Levine. I appreciate you taking the call.
Yes, sir.
I have a, if you don't mind, if I could take some time, I have a quick comment and then a request. I've always
we have all night, but we can't on the radio, you know.
I'm gonna make it quick then. There was a great political science teacher I learned a lot from, and she always said, understand the intent of the author. If people want to understand what's going forward, read the Abraham Accords that was signed in 2020. Understand the intent. The performance of those agreements will help us to understand going forward what the possibilities are. Let's stay positive. And the request is, I have an author, my son, I've said the same thing to, and he's writing his first book. And I'm wondering if I can beg you to forward me a copy of anything, Men in Black, American Marxism, the latest one on power, just to encourage my son whose book will be coming.
All right, thanks for your call. Don't hang up on him. Send him a book. I don't understand the whole point of the call, to be perfectly honest with you. But I'm in a good mood, so it really doesn't matter. Let's continue. Becky, Fort Worth, Texas, the great Sirius XM satellite. Becky, how are you?
Hey, good evening, Mark. Hey, I've enjoyed listening to you for many years. Am I just going to throw this out there and hang up and let you visit? But I wanted to tell you that I had heard today that Antony Blinken had taken, total credit for this peace agreement. And
Antony Blinken said that Donald Trump picked up where Biden left off. Tell me how sick this guy is.
I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, when we think about everything it took to get here, it was the opposite of anything that they did.
Yeah, no, these guys are they're nuts. They're egomaniacs, so they could never be wrong. But if anything, Donald Trump proved them to be completely wrong. Did he not?
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, it's a nightly gaslit that you get when you listen to these people on the news.
Can't take that guy seriously, Antony Blinken. All right, my friend, you take care of yourself. Let's keep rolling here. Let's go to Dan, St. Paul, KDIZ. How are you?
Great, Mark. Thanks for taking my call.
Sounds like you're from Massachusetts. You sure you're from Minnesota?
Am I sure? Yeah, yes. It's rough. Me and the wife, we're looking for a great place to move to, but we'll see where we land.
All right.
But I was thinking that pretty soon next year they'll be offering the Nobel Peace Prize to President Trump, and I think he should just sub them because, obviously this year's selection, I can't remember the last war she stopped or the last thing she did, but
she's not a bad selection. I mean, she's been taking on Maduro, and I mean, maybe they should give out two, but there's just no question that Trump's the overwhelming, should be the overwhelming choice. But look, when you're you're relying on Sweden and some little committee in Sweden, and you have the Alfred Nobel Prize because Alfred Nobel invented dynamite, and he wanted to create a legacy for himself. I don't know why we're bound by that. That's why I said we ought to have the Donald Trump Peace Prize right here, based in America, and he should get the first one, period.
Yeah. I think they gave it to Obama after his first handshake.
They gave it to Obama after he found where the men's room was in the Oval Office.
Yeah, right.
That's about right. Obama... Obama, Peace Prize for Obama? How stupid is that? Seriously.
Yeah, they're discredited entirely.
Well, how about Yasser Arafat getting it?
Yeah, he must be.
Yasser Arafat got the Nobel Peace Prize.
Oh, no way, really?
They probably melted it down and, turned it into bullets. Anyway, all right, Dan, take care of yourself, brother. Let's keep going. Let's slip in one more. Paul, San Diego, California, Mary in Utah, Sirius Satellite. How are you, Mary?
I'm great. I'm so glad to listen to you, Mark, all the time.
Anyway. Wait a minute. You're from Massachusetts.
Okay.
You from Massachusetts?
Oh, I'm from Massachusetts originally.
That's what
I was born in Boston, but I live in a little town out here in Utah now.
I don't blame it, but anyone who calls me Mac, I already know where they're from. You know what I understand.
I'm
it's
sorry.
like if you're from Philly, it's how yous doing, which I hate. That's
kids,
South Philly.
That's exactly right. The kids in school are always asking me to talk. So,
yes.
Anyways, they make fun of me, but it's fun. Anyway, I don't understand. This is kind of breaking my heart. Why? I know they brought these 20 hostages out, but they haven't released or don't know where the other ones are. And why did we already, not we, but why did they already release 2,000 Palestinians that were taken? Shouldn't it?
It was because it was the timing that was agreed to, and you make a great point. Where are the other 24 bodies? We can't find them. What do you mean you can't find them? They know where they are. These people are monsters, absolute monsters.
And so I just think that they shouldn't have released all of the other hostages.
I agree with you.
Prisoners.
But the whole world would attack the Israelis, it's Israel. What's with them over there? That's all I ever hear anymore.
We don't keep Israel, the only free country in the region, that we could lose everything. I'm not Jewish, but we need to protect them because they're the only free people there.
But you must love Qatar. We all love Qatar now. Are you aware of that?
No.
First of all, never trust a country that's named after an instrument. Qatar. I know. What's with that?
Yeah, I don't know. I know I've listened to you a long time with all the history, and I love history. I just don't understand that, it's always
What does
lopsided.
Qatar call itself now? I don't even know. Qatar.
Well,
That's even dumber. It's even dumber. Qatar. Spell Qatar, excuse me. It's Qatar for the rest of the time. Mary, you're lovely. Thank you for your call, my friend. God bless you. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget I'm on Hannity in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, something like that. Modern technology, how quickly I can do that. Oh, yeah. This is called Buying Time as I'm looking for a commercial here, Mr. Producer, and I can't find it. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe that, America? Now, I haven't told you that my printer's not working, because I don't think you care about that, but when my printer's not working, my wife's laughing at me. Here we are. All right. Let's take a call or three, shall we? Let's see if we can fit them in. Lisa, Post Falls, Idaho, Sirius XM satellite. Lisa, how are you?
I am fantastic. I can't believe I made it through.
You made it through?
Excited.
Yes, congratulations.
Yes, thank you for taking my call.
Yes.
I don't. This is my first time calling. Much respect, much appreciation for all that you do.
Thank you.
I just have a quick question. I know that during the Biden era.
Just remember what Mo said of the Three Stooges.
Yeah, it was bad.
Take your time, but hurry up, he used to say.
Yeah.
But he was rude. I'm nice.
Our fuel reserves, and I'm just curious to see if you know anything about Trump's efforts to replenish that.
I haven't even thought about it. That's a good question. I suspect they're working on it, but I don't know. The emergency reserve that Biden killed. Now, that's a good question. I'm going to look into that.
Kind of creeping up.
Now, let me find out. I don't know the answer to that question, but it's a good question. All right, Lisa. You stumped the star. You stumped the radio host. I'll check into it. God bless you. Now, if I were liberal, I'd just lie. Everything's fine. Next caller. Steve, Idaho Falls on the Mark Levin app. Steve, how are you, sir?
I am great, Mr. Levin, and thank you so much for doing what you do. And it's a great honor to speak to you.
Thank you, buddy.
I have a couple of observations of things that I think are kind of going on in the background, and I think they're very clever moves on Trump's part. First of all, in this whole peace process, I think he's totally denuded the United Nations.
Hold on now. You mean neutered the United Nations? not denuded.
Well, yeah, they're neutered. They're no longer relevant.
That's true. That speech to the UN was fantastic.
Yes, and I think, but today was kind of the follow-up because he had 37 nations present. I think what he's really done is by de facto created.
Wait, you're about to make a brilliant point. He's created his own sub-UN.
Exactly, that he can work with, and that will,
That's a great point.
We can actually get something done, maybe.
As long as we kick France out of there, I think we're in good shape. All right, my friend, that was a great call. Great point. I'm about to go to Hannity, so I got to split. We salute our armed forces, police officers, firefighters, emergency personnel, our truckers, the men and women in Ukraine. I hope you get your tomahawks. Men and women in Israel, God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow. Be well.